This is a WHIPPLE Supercharger, and that just happens to be my wife's truck. She doesn't know it yet, but she's about to get it back. A heck of a lot rowdier. Let's go. Man, this is heavy.
So it's worse than it is?
So I couldn't figure out what was going on with it. I'm over at Sarge's right now. I'm not sure if she bought it. All right, guys, here's the plan. Come here. Wifey is about to leave for work, but I can't have her take her truck because I need it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna borrow her ignition fuse so she can't go anywhere. Just leave that there. There we go. Take it off. Hey, I'm gonna get a cold start of your truck when you leave. Okay. Maui. Yeah, Maui. Crazy, crazy, crazy boy. Bye, love.
Bye. What?
You start it?
The battery not left?
I don't know. It shouldn't be the battery. It was running fine yesterday. No, battery's fine.
Okay.
Open the hood. Actually, no, hold on. I got my computer right here. Why is it saying that?
It's not working.
Hold on.
Surface parking brake.
Says it needs the WHIP PLE updated and installed. Here, just take the Silverado EV today. We need media clips for it anyways. I don't know what it is. All right, so you're gonna hang out.
How do I turn it off? It keeps beeping.
Okay, you're good. Well, luckily Chevy gave us the Silverado EV for a couple days. Just for clarity, not ours. Chevy's letting us borrow it for a couple days.
I didn't even have to turn it on.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Bye. All right. What's funny is the box sitting right here. WHIP PLE. Now this project's gonna take a couple days at least, so I do need to come up with a story to tell my wife on where in the world her truck is, but for the meantime, we're taking it over to Sarge's house to hide it away while we supercharge this thing. Gotta get the soccer goals out for soccer practice later. Oh, lift with the legs. Here we go. Lifetime table. Always need one of these. Well, wish me luck, guys. First time ever supercharging anything. DIY, always. Let's go. All right, last data log. We're just, I don't know, quadruple checking that all vital signs are healthy, and it's looking good so far. We have been fighting kind of an anomaly of an issue with a specific code that this truck keeps throwing. I think we've got to figure it out. We're gonna find out, especially when we bolt on a supercharger on here and go wide open, because if there's anything wrong with what I did in our previous videos, it's gonna show up with the supercharger. There's gonna be a lot of learnings in this, but I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna spend some time wrenching with my dad in the garage that I grew up wrenching in, if you can even call it wrenching. I don't know. I think she's healthy. We're going for it. Now, one thing I haven't told you guys about that a lot of you guys asked was the specs on the Texas Speed camshaft that we replaced the DFM camshaft with. There's a reason I didn't tell you about it, because it's actually a blower cam. It's a supercharger cam. This was always the plan. We were gonna run this cam NA or naturally aspirated for a while, but why not? It's a supercharger cam. Let's pair it up with the freaking WHIPPLE Supercharger. The fact that I get to work with WHIPPLE Superchargers on this video, mind-blowing. Let's let Sarge know that we're here. Nice and quiet, right? Yeah. So I just ordered 2 more resonators to put on the H-pipe, because I do need to send it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little loud.
We do have some resonators from Vibrant that we're gonna throw on here. Oh, she sounds good.
That's a rumble, not roar.
That's not a rumble, that's a reliable. 200,000 miles and still running strong. Literally, the whole entire engine's just never been apart, ever. Although I would say rebuilding this one would be a lot easier. Look how much access there is. How's she coming?
Good. Good stereo in.
Oh, and it's working. She sounds healthy.
Oh yeah, it's been sounding good.
Hey, just wait till I learn how to tune, and I'll actually tune it for you.
Yeah.
We put an aftermarket exhaust, so we got some Flow. Is it a Flowmaster? We collaborated with Real Truck, got a Flowmaster on here. My dad wanted to dump it before the rear axle. That sounds like, it sounds great.
Wait till the truck bed's on top of it.
Wait till we put a cam in it. Because I know how to do that now. Paint and body work, you'll call it. But paint and body around here is a 2-year project minimum.
I love progress.
This weather looks good today. Tomorrow is supposed to get a little bit hairy. Obviously, there's no windows in that thing.
Yeah. Worst case, we'll
Nor a hood.
untarp the 5.5 and then cover up the 9.9.
1955 Chevy that he drove in high school. Projects are not scarce around here.
Not a problem anymore.
2020 Silverado, just been DFM deleted. I went ahead and rewrapped the hood.
Your mom did notice it was kind of faded. Change that out. Yeah, I like this though.
First off, big Mahalos to Sarge for letting me use his garage while Aloha thinks that her truck is broken down currently. Yeah, she's at work, and when she calls me on the way home from work, I'm just gonna tell her that it's at Logan's got it at Cadillac.
Oh. And she said, huh?
No, she said you're an idiot. What's in this box costs more than 2 of those motors.
Oh, gee. Let's trade in 2 motors.
Well, on the used market, let's be clear. Careful. This alone could put the company under. We gotta be careful. It's a very small company. Mother, your laundry room lacks in car parts.
Yes.
Would you like to add car parts to your laundry room to meet mine?
No, it's not as big as yours. You have a big old shop in the back. Go put them in there.
I don't want my tires in my shop. Get in the way. He's using electric tools. His friends from back in the day were so disappointed in him. Hey, I've seen this truck like this before. It was just a few weeks ago it looked like this. And you'll also notice that we never put back on the intake beautification cover, nor the little plastic covers that go over the top of each of those valves. A few of you did mention that you could hear a lot more rattling or like injector noises coming from the engine because those covers actually insulate a lot of the noise, which I like the noise, I'm good with it. So we have no plans on reassembling those covers back on here, but the good part is that intake manifold beautification cover is the biggest pain in the butt with this wiring harness on the backside, but fortunately, we don't have to deal with that. So now we're gonna take off the 10 millimeter bolts holding the intake on, intake's coming out, throttle body's coming off, and then we read the next page of instructions. Let me throw a washer on here. Actually, let's look in Dad's bucket of mysteries because everybody's car dad has got one and I know exactly where he puts it. Yep. I knew it was here. This bucket has been over here my entire childhood. We just need a flat washer. All right, let's try. Oh, that works perfect. So we got you and the guy she says don't worry about. Let's go. Now the instructions actually state to reutilize the intake gaskets, but I went ahead and ordered some new ones. We do need to pull off the throttle body though. Just the intake, Mom's plastic bags. Thank you, Mom. Hey, it's still pretty clean. It's like we were in here, you know, a few weeks ago. All right, 4 10 millimeter bolts on our throttle body. So we're gonna pull the throttle body off. We also have our map sensor and whatever the heck this solenoid thing is. We might need those. Now at some point today, I need to make up a story for my wife on why her truck is not home. And this truck's gonna be, I'm assuming, 2 to 3 days minimum. So I got Matt working on a tune to really dial this thing in, especially at wide open throttle, because assuming I don't blow it up first, we're taking it to LS Fest. Also need new tires. Those tires are shot. That is caked. That is disgusting. Got it. We got it. Whew. Stock evap hose off the truck. We have to cut and reuse one of these lines. We're done with this. We're on to that. We're gonna get the supercharger ready. So it comes kind of pre-assembled just for shipping. We need to pull it apart and actually insert a few, I think, gaskets and O-rings and things like that. I'm installing a supercharger. This is wild. Guys, if you're enjoying the video and the content, be sure to hit the like button below, as well as subscribe to the channel, because it's more likely you'll see the future updates and videos on the 2020 Trail Boss. Doesn't cost anything, just more likely you'll see the future videos. Thank you in advance. Let's start playing with the supercharger. Instructions say take a stretchy tool belt, because again, the belt is stretched on. No tensioner pulley, but I'm just gonna cut it off. Got a new belt.
Does it have a tensioner?
I think actually they supply you with a tensioner, so we were actually putting a tensioner on the truck.
Yeah, but how do you adjust the belt then when you get it on?
It's a stretch belt.
Oh, you're kidding.
So, do you have cutters? Do you want to do the honors? Oh, jeez.
The Rambo knife.
Do not hit my wiring harness. There we go. So long, stretchy belt. It's meant for gardening. That's his gardening knife.
Here, no, here's my gardening knife.
I don't want to see your gardening knife. Fun fact, this supercharger alone is bigger than the displacement on my wife's first engine. The supercharger is 3 liters. Aloha's Mercedes, 2.3 liters. Oh, we got this guy. Yeah, buddy. And if we want to go faster, we make this a little bit smaller.
Oh, we got the spark plug.
It came in the kit, everything. All this came in the kit together. I'm working on a supercharger. It's so cool. Oh, it's a WHIPPLE. And it puts the air inside of here, which goes into here, and then bald eagles fly out of there. It's actually really cool. Look at the tolerances, or like how close those things are.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive. Look at that.
I mean, even as they lock in together. Like gears.
Man, WHIPPLE. Making some quality stuff, sirs. And we're about ready to get this WHIPPLE intake installed. Just cleaning up some of the surfaces, plugging in our supplied LT4 map sensor, and installing the needed gaskets. All right, what we're doing here is just putting the intake gaskets on the supercharger intake. Instructions show to use the ones off the stock intake, but we went ahead and just ordered some fresh gaskets. Just casually climbing in the hood of my truck. Next time this thing's gonna be opened is when it's out of the truck, because I'm dropping in the bigger motor. All right, hit me. Oh my gosh, this is so far back in here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're good. Woo! Cooling. It's a cooler. This is so cool. These intake bolts don't get really torqued down tight at all. Starting off at 89 inch-pounds on the first pass, and then going back at 130 inch-pounds on the final pass, starting in the middle and then working outward. WHIPPLE recommends replacing the stock plugs with either a Denso or NGK plug. So we had the fun task of swapping out our stock plugs for these Denzos that came with the kit. We ensured to carefully gap each of these plugs to 0.032 inches. If you don't get it right, it's likely we'll experience a misfire with this kit. Well, so much for the rain that was supposed to come tomorrow. That's where the weather forecasters are like, best guess. Every single one of them gapped to 0.032 inches, and then just a little dab of anti-seize there. Thread them in my hand, go back, torque them down to 11 foot-pounds, and then put the plug wires back on. And then we go on to start assembling our bracketry. It's as if we would have been better off if we did this when we were doing the whole thing. Nah. Learning process. All we're here for, learning how to do cool shit. All right, taking out 2 of the water pump bolts, because we're going to utilize those locations for the idler plates. And then...
Some neighbor's house.
Oh, definitely in the 55.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Mom's got 2 stray cats that she has unstrayed. Good barn cats. They bring dead rats into the garage. Left the head and the guts up underneath the truck.
And then ran off with the body. It's disgusting.
The bracket has a built-in adjustable idler pulley where we can actually tighten it up after the fact to make sure the belt never slips on the supercharger pulley under heavy loads or per se wide open throttle. So we're taking a razor and removing the stock fittings from the stock evap hose. Cut a slit, pull that hose off. We're going to transfer this to the new evap hose from WHIPPLE. That was easy. All right, O-ring time. We have our mid-plate O-ring installed. We have a lot of this assembly loop grease just holding it in, because when you put that big heavy supercharger in here, last thing you want is for that supercharger to pull up the O-ring and then you have a big air leak. So we have that down. Now we have our bypass O-ring. Now I believe this one actually sits inside of here, so it should be, oh yeah, right here.
You'll see this in a second, but this kit includes a massive, oversized heat exchanger and intercooler core here underneath the supercharger. So we're hooking up the intercooler hoses that will feed into the intercooler and out back through the reservoir. With these installed, we're ready for that supercharger.
So we need to fill this up with supercharger oil, and there's a little sight glass on the back side, and you want the oil to be right in the middle of that sight glass. So we're gonna go ahead and put about, I don't know, 3/4 of that in and see where it comes up on the sight glass. I'm assuming this is where I'm putting the oil. It's gotta be. Right? Yeah, the sight glass is right there. You'll also notice that I have a level here.
I know, I was like, what are you doing with the level over here?
This thing is way too expensive to mess up. We double checked. Okay. That feels good. Let's put this puppy on the truck. Here comes the good part. Oh gosh. This is so cool. So we're gonna slap this guy in here. So we're gonna, oh, hold on. Oh crap. Hey babe.
Hey.
How's it going?
He's doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I'm over at Sarge's house now. So, real quick on your truck. Well, I couldn't figure out what was going on with it. I got it started and running, but it just didn't run good. And that code it kept throwing up. I called Logan. He said just to bring it in. So, I dropped it off at Cadillac and then Sarge came and picked me up.
Wait, what?
Logan's gonna look at the car when he has a second. He says one of his techs should have some time today.
So it's worse than it is?
No, it's...
Oh.
Sorry. Well, are you okay driving the Silverado EV for another day or two?
Well, I'm only at 26%.
Okay, that's not too bad.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Can't go far. Okay.
Yeah, we'll plug it in tonight, but you'll drive that tomorrow. Hopefully Logan's guy will have some time to look at it today. I'm hoping it's something stupid, like something that their computers can just do a reset on. I'll be on my way here in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, love you, babe.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm not sure if she bought it. It's like one of those things like when you're lying, you explain too much.
Yep. You talk yourself.
Guys, I gotta tighten up my lies a little bit. Okay, here we go. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's no... Hold on, I need to slide. Forehead. Use my forehead. There we go.
Boom.
Okay.
That lined up.
There we go. Woo! We got it.
Man, that looks good.
It fits.
Arf, arf, arf.
Oh, heck yeah. We got a Whipple.
Man, that is like...
We got a Whipple. No matter what I do, I cannot get my torque wrench to fit in here. These are all 17 foot-pounds. So I got my arm calibrated to 17, 16, 17, right there. All right, that was a pain. We were fighting that for a little bit, and turns out we were just looking at the schematics incorrectly. So we got the bracket with the tensioner pulley on basically down there. So you see where the flashlight's shining. There's now a tensioner pulley on this. Bracket's tightened up, tensioner pulley's on, bolts are in. We're now ready for our Whipple pulley. Yeah, but that's gonna wait till tomorrow because it's late. I need to get home. Wifey's gonna get suspicious, but we'll be back here in the morning when she leaves for work. We're gonna fire this thing up. This is gonna be the loudest Silverado on the freaking planet. Should we warn your neighbors?
No.
Okay. Oh yeah. You don't live in an HOA.
No, they're all old too.
All right. Well, Sarge, thanks again for letting me lease your garage for one more night. And then we got the OG. This cover's working pretty good. That weather today was nuts. Pouring down rain. Now it's perfectly dry. See you in the morning. Good morning. Good morning. Well, it was a good morning until about halfway here. I swear, doing these projects is like the biggest learning curve that I've ever experienced in my life, but I do enjoy it because I'm being forced to learn things I never thought I would learn. Today's learning has to deal with this guy. So this is the factory map sensor, which used to be installed here on our stock intake. Now, when we installed our new Whipple Supercharger, pre-installed on the backside of the intake is a new LT4 3-bar map sensor. Now, it's a little more complex because we're no longer just sucking in air. We're in fact forcing in air.
Now when Whipple puts together these kits, they're built to go on a stock 5.3 or 6.2 engine. They include a pre-calibrated tune with the kit that works perfect with a stock setup, but we're far from stock at this point. We're gonna have Matt build a custom tune for the truck, but in order for Matt to build a good tune file, he needs to know the actual air temperature of the air going into the cylinders. The stock sensors on the truck pull the air temps from before the Whipple intercooler, so those wouldn't be accurate. We need the air temps after the intercooler.
We need a breakout harness.
That breakout harness will allow us to pull those air temps from the new map sensor location on the backside of this Whipple intake to feed that tune. But as I'll come to find out here in just a moment, I'm about to make a very costly mistake.
We'll see for the meantime if Matt can utilize maybe the stock MAF IATs coming through, and then before we run it hard, we install that part. But regardless, we still have a lot of plumbing to do before we're even ready to start this thing up. More learnings for me, more money out of my bank account because that wiring harness is not cheap, nor is shipping to get it here by tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get the rest of this thing plumbed up, ready to go. And then hopefully we can, we'll find out more here in a little bit. Learnings, new learnings every day. All right, we officially have a supercharger on a massive pulley. Still waiting on our T-connector, be here tomorrow. And then we still gotta plumb the cooling system. There you go. That is a sigh of relief. That took way longer than I thought it would, but we are plumbed in and wired in. The harness, the relays, all mounted up and clean, zip tied up out of the way. And I'm not gonna say it's a factory look. It's far from factory, but it's clean, proper, and to what I would like to see in my own truck. So from this massive heat exchanger, all the plumbing lines, even the pump mounted on the back side, we had to change a few different things because I do have some future plans for this truck, which didn't allow me to do a few things that Whipple recommended, but we changed things up just to keep things out of the way of future plans. But for today, it is time, finally, to fill this thing up with coolant and start that bleeding process. Once that's done, we're gonna upload the tune that Matt just put together for us, leveraging the mass airflow sensor data. He's running completely blind here, and he also leveraged ChatGPT to convert some of the data from the previous data logs, leveraging the colder intake. Air temperatures will read on the backside of the inner chiller. Yeah. Long story short, ChatGPT and tuning is really a thing, to be honest. I have no idea what the capacity is, so this could be enough. Also could be not even close. I gotta figure out my intake still. I decided I don't wanna run my factory air box. If you use Whipple's pre-provided tune, you need to be using the factory air box because they calibrate everything to the system, make it 50 state legal, emissions, EPA, etc. But since we're running a custom tune, got Mr. Wizard Matt working that tune, I'm actually gonna leverage my cold air intake a different way than it was initially intended to, so I can hear the supercharger a little bit better and also provide more airflow, I hope. Let's find out. What I want to use is my cold air induction's cold air intake, especially this massive oversized filter, which will sit right in here. The complicated part is getting from here to here with a mass airflow sensor, the cold air induction's coupler on the stock throttle body. And then we have a very, very small space to insert a mass airflow sensor. So what I'm gonna do is take the intake tube they provide with the kit, cut it before and after the mass airflow sensor, and we are not gonna run the top on the airbox. And then when we do put this thing in severe conditions, i.e. off-roading, we'll throw the factory airbox lid on there, protect it. But when we're running in the street, open top. All right, cold air intake is in, plumbed up. We have coolant, I don't know, somewhat in the system. So we do need an ignition on and have the coolant start flowing through. So I'm assuming what's gonna happen is that pump's gonna kick on and they're gonna watch this reservoir drop. But what I want you to do is yell at me if it just starts blowing out from everywhere. Because I hooked up and unhooked those hoses so many times. Guys, this is my first time sitting inside a Whipple Supercharged truck. All right, holding the ignition. 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, I hope that's not how loud it is driving.
That was bubble. About it.
Got a bubble? I actually decided we're gonna fire this thing up as it sits right now. This is the hose I need to replace with a longer one. I need to run this up underneath the Whipple, out, and then into this intake tube. But for now, this is actually gonna work just fine just for the startup. Okay, and we figured out the pump. You might have heard it just there. Yep. We're about to have our first startup ever with a Whipple supercharger. All right. There we go. This is gonna be loud. That wasn't bad. I expected a lot worse. Woo, look at that Whipple go. We got a Whipple, boys. This is a lot calmer than it was than in my garage, but I think it's because the back of the truck, yeah, it's definitely because the back of the truck is outside the garage. Oil pressure's great, temperature's coming up. We've got a Whipple supercharger on my wife's truck, and she's got no idea. No leaks. Fans are blowing like crazy. Ouch. Yep, that's the fan. I might just leave this for now. Whipple, baby, Whipple. Thank you guys so much for watching this, for watching the channel, for supporting. Never thought in a million years we'd be here, so thank you guys so much for enjoying it. Be sure to hit the like button below, subscribe as well so you can see all the future updates coming for this truck, because this is not the end all be all on this truck. I got a lot more crazy ideas that are actually sitting in our second bedroom, waiting. It's gonna be warm. It won't be bad. All right, we'll let this thing idle for like 8 minutes and we'll go for a light drive. Stay out of boost is what he said. Yeah, we're gonna replace this with a longer one. I'm gonna run it up underneath, but for now, that will be fine for just tuning. I don't know what the details, but he puts it in a certain spot where it kind of pisses the truck off, but it gets him the data he needs to write the correct map. I don't know. Go for a drive. Let's go. Truck is officially running. I don't know if I want to say this out loud yet, because I always curse myself when I do, but I'm gonna say it. No check engine light. Just driving a truck with a Whipple, I feel like hair growing out of my chest right now. Testosterone is just through the roof. You know, once you start going, it just feels like a normal truck. Like, very tame, the cam. Then you roll to a stop, and you hear that.
Bloop, bloop.
Oh yeah. As always, Father, big mahalos for letting me commandeer your garage for
Anytime.
3 days.
Anytime.
And thank you to the 99 Silverado for hanging out outside. Holy crap, look at this. Your thing's about to set fire.
For what?
The reflection on the window.
Hey.
That is nuts.
Crazy. My truck could have burned down.
Did you guys see that? Well, yeah, feel how hot that is. When the sun's in a specific spot. Yeah, I'd probably move it over a little bit. All right, we're gonna pack up. See you guys back at the shop. It is so tempting to edit all of this out and kind of skip ahead and pretend that I'm an expert at performance and modifying trucks, but that's just not the reality. What I want to share with you guys is the reality of DIY, doing things like this for the first time without anybody of experience holding my hand and showing me how to do it. We have the internet, some YouTube videos, and every once in a while we use ChatGPT, but regardless, we're expected to make mistakes. Unfortunately, this mistake put me several days behind because in this box is a wiring harness. Now this wiring harness was $200. I paid another $150 to have it airshipped next day. That way I could have this thing on hand. That way this truck could be tuned, ready to go, to reveal to my wife in a surprise for Mother's Day. Mother's Day was yesterday, and we're far from done. That sucks. But that's the reality of just not knowing what you're doing and just going for it. So what we've done now is order the correct wiring harness, which is actually gonna be quite a bit of work because we actually have to install our own IAT intake air temperature sensor in the manifold underneath the WHIPPLE Supercharger. Now there's both positives and negatives to our current situation. Positives, truck's home, made it home, healthy, it's running. My wife also knows that the truck is home, healthy and running, but I told her it's not done yet. I need a few more days because I said I'm gonna add some additional muffling to the exhaust because it is in fact excessive. That's coming from me. The exhaust is insane on this thing. So I do have a few more days. She doesn't know exactly what we did, but she knows I'm gonna be working on the exhaust, and I did not lie to her. We're in fact going to edit the exhaust a little bit today. On the negative side, we're waiting on our wiring harness. We cannot do anything in terms of tuning and making progress on that until we have the breakout harness, but it's a different breakout harness for this truck, and I actually have to install the IAT directly into the intake. I could not foot another overnight shipping bill, and also the performance shops that build these harnesses, it's not Amazon. So I ordered on Saturday, and they're not gonna see that order until they get to work on Monday, which means it's not gonna ship out till this afternoon, which is another 2 days. So I'm guessing, if I'm lucky, I'll have that thing on Wednesday. We have Wednesday and Thursday to get this thing dialed because Friday morning we're heading to Texas Motor Speedway for LS Fest, Texas. Cutting it way too close. Now, a normal, sensible, and intelligent person would simply swap out the AWE resonators we have on this exhaust system for some mufflers and call it a day. But that type of person does not live here. So instead, we are going to pull off the H-pipe, flip it, weld on 2 vibrant resonators onto the section and throw it back in and see if that does the job. All right, round 37 for the exhaust on this truck. We have 2 vibrant resonators welded onto the H-pipe, which is gonna run in addition to the AWE 0FG 180 technology resonators. That was a mouthful, but what we're gonna do is actually, this was historically sitting like this on the truck. So front of the truck, back of the truck. We're gonna flip the H-pipe this direction. So it's gonna run through the H-pipe, have 2 vibrant resonators, and it'll run through the back and have additional 180 tech resonators from AWE. Hopefully that's gonna do the trick. All right, guys, 1/2 inch wrench to the face later, we got our exhaust finished. I cannot express too much emotion or else my eye will split back open, but we have our 2 resonators, our H-pipe flipped, and our AWE resonators. So hopefully these guys will do the trick in terms of calming this down just a little bit. Safety glasses did not help there. Wham! There's a lot of kids in this world that haven't taken a 1/2 inch wrench to the face. It would solve a lot. That freaking hurt. All right. That is significantly quieter. Yeah, under idle, I don't know if you guys can tell from the microphone, but it's significantly more bearable. It's still loud on the throttle. We gotta learn something new again. So the IAT sensor that I need to put into the intake, there's no spot for it. So I gotta pull the supercharger and intake back out, drill and tap an IAT sensor into the intake, which I've never done before. Let's get the truck back on the ground and start pulling this thing right back out. Gosh dang it.
This round went a bit quicker, but since we didn't have Sarge along with us, I decided to use an engine hoist to get this thing out safely. Also being super careful not to dump a bunch of coolant into the intake ports when I unhooked the WHIPPLE intercooler lines.
We've been standing around for about an hour now trying to figure out where in the world we're gonna install an IAT sensor into this WHIPPLE intake. Now, if I take this socket here, the outside of this socket is approximately 14 millimeters across, which is the size of the threads that I need to cut into this intake. This WHIPPLE intake actually has 2 pre-installed plugs here. The problem is both of these plugs are only 10 millimeters across. Now, if I hone that out to 14, it gets alarmingly close to that edge right there. We're trying to figure out where in the world we're gonna place this sensor. There are a lot of questions up in the air, but I need to make a decision now and commit because when that cable gets here, this needs to be installed, ready to go. I plug the cable in and we're off and running. Gosh dang it. It's another thing I don't know what I'm doing. Spent some time taping up the inside of that port because I cannot have any aluminum metal shards falling in here. It's here, guys. We got our wiring harness finally. Okay, this is the sensor that we're gonna install into that hole we drilled in our intake. And then these plugs, I believe, just sandwich between the mass airflow sensor and this device. Mathematic harness installed. So we got our IAT sensor right there, tapped into the intake. That fit perfect. We need to hurry. We have LS Fest in like 24 hours. This has not been tuned yet. Let's go. Let's go. No bubbles, which usually means no leak. But then again, it's at idle, so we'll see what happens really when it's under load. He's got the idle set pretty low, and I think he's doing that on purpose so you can hear the cam. I approve. Sounds so good. Oh, it's getting serious, guys. All right, Matt said everything's looking healthy, so he said go wide open throttle up to 5,500 RPM a couple of times. All right, we've gotten the okay from the wizard. Wide open, let it shift. Let's go! I never thought this truck would pull like that. All right, guys. It is literally 12:25 a.m. We are on revision number 17 on this tune. This has been a beast to tune. I cannot thank Matt enough. Guys, go drop Matt a follow. But we are ready to reveal this thing finally to my wife in the morning, who's currently sleeping. So I'm going to bed. We'll see you guys in the morning for the big reveal. This thing is insane.
What? Party time.
So I put the resonators on there so it's not going to scream as much.
Okay.
It's still pretty loud when you go on it, but normal driving will be ridiculous.
Did they not pick up the...
I don't know if they picked the recycling up.
They didn't.
Well, everybody's just still out, so I'm assuming no. So, DFM delete's done, the new camshaft's in. Whatever I was doing earlier, that weird code light, they took care of it. Sounds good though, right?
It's running.
Because Mommy took forever. Now you can work on the shop.
Is he the one in the comments? Is he the one commenting on my videos?
Yep.
Where's the shop update? That's actually him. You happy to have your truck back?
Yes.
Is your husband the best ever?
Sweet, sweet.
That was cool.
Yeah, that's sweet. Sweet. Sweet.
You like it?
I like it.
Is it worth the wait?
Oh, yes.
Well, obviously you're suspicious.
Yeah.
Am I good at lying?
No.
Not at all. Well, now the kids are dropped off. You want to try out your new setup? You're welcome. What were you saying earlier about you being cautious? Well, you got a supercharged daily driver now, thanks to WHIPPLE Superchargers.
So,
This truck is violent. That is a 3-liter WHIPPLE Supercharger. Fun fact, just a supercharger. It's a larger displacement than the engine in your Mercedes back there. It's pretty cool, huh?
It's really cool.
So you will hear a hum now because there's a big water pump mounted up under here, which circulates all this fluid, which goes through the supercharger, which cools the air charge, which makes you more power. Long story short, you're gonna hear a little hum. Like when you turn your truck off, it continues humming for about 10 seconds and then it shuts itself down. I finished this last night at 12:30 a.m. So
Yeah.
I may have missed some things. All right. Well, Whipple, thank you, babe. Congratulations. You have a Whipple supercharged truck. Probably the coolest daily driver there is.
Yep.
Family car. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Give me this camera because this is all about you. She has a supercharged Silverado.
I have a supercharged.
At the start of this video, there was a chance that this truck would never run under its own power again because of my incompetence, but we figured it out, we got it there, and finished it last night at 12:30 a.m.
Let's go racing.
Yeah, let's go racing. So today starts LS Fest Texas Day 1. So we're literally closing out this video, starting up the next one. This truck has been done for not even 8 hours and we're taking it racing. So we'll see you guys out at LS Fest Texas. Until next time, that video dropping in a few days. Yeah, well, we gotta get going because we're late. Catch you guys in a few days for our next video. Until the day comes, as always, y'all take care. We hope. Aloha.